Hi, this is Eric Ho, and this video is going to be all about being more efficient with your time and how to create rapid results, And the reason I decided to put this video together was because, during my seminars, a lot of people ask me, Eric, how do you manage your time? How do you run a non-profit organization out in Kenya? How do you run all your businesses in separate industries? And how are you able to live life, enjoy life, the finer things in life, travel, and so on and so forth. And so I decided to put this video together just to highlight a few of the points that I've learned throughout my journey so that you can implement it in your lives too. And one thing I'd like to first talk about is being a perfectionist. And I've met a lot of people who are very similar to how I used to be, and I see this big problem happening is what I call the Perfectionist Syndrome. Okay, I used to have everything perfect before I could launch anything. So for example, if I was creating a website, I would need every button to look absolutely perfect, the highlights around it, the colors. If I was creating a video, like a video like today, you'll find that the video isn't perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. And will there be mistakes? Will there be a few umming and ahhing? Yes, there will. But I get the video out there and it gets me results, and I'm able to add the value I want to add. Otherwise, I'll be forever creating the same thing and then trying to perfect it and then never really getting there. And maybe within 1 year I'll be able to create, say, 2 videos as opposed to being able to create a video a week or a video per month. And it's so important for perfectionists to really listen out for this thing, because we always fall into this problem of needing giving ourselves excuses for not launching something. And I remember when I first started my first video, I said, I can't do my video yet because I haven't got the right lighting. I need to buy the right lights first, and then I can't do it yet because I haven't ironed my shirt properly, and the sound isn't right, the camera isn't good enough. And then I'd be forever buying all these things and ordering these things, and then week by week and month by month would pass by and I would still not start this thing, and this was what I used to be like. And once I started to change the way I thought about things, right? Because let's face it, nothing will ever be perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. You launch a product, you launch a service right now, it will never be perfect. It won't be perfect. And that's the essence of being able to grow, grow your business or evolve or develop your product. Because look at the iPhone, for example. It's always developing, it's always changing, it's always staying ahead of the game, because it's never perfect. But then the only difference between the most successful people out there is the mindset and how they think about things. One thing that I've learned early on in my career was, we have a goal. We set ourselves a goal. So for example, I would say I'm launching a new book in March. So I would give the name and then say, okay, it's going to launch in March. And from now till March, guess what? I'm going to just get my ass moving. Why? Because I've committed to it. Now, the best way to commit to something is making a public declaration. Now, what do I mean by that? Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody around you, say it on video, put it on social media, and tell the whole world that you're going to launch the book by, say, the 28th of March. And once you've said that, you've made a public declaration, meaning if you don't reach that target or you don't hit that goal at that time, then guess what? People are going to laugh at you. People are going to ask you, where is this book then? And guess what? They're going to hold you accountable. And that's a very good way I've found to, get things done and because what will happen is from now till March, guess what? Especially for the perfectionist, the perfectionist out there, now till March, you'll be working on it. And more so closer to March, right? And then guess what? March the 27th, 26th and 27th will hit and you're not ready yet. It's nearly done, but not quite done. You haven't got the right pictures in there yet and the font's not quite right. But guess what? Launch it. You have to just launch it. And then you make the ongoing tweaking afterwards. And then you constantly tweak it. Does that make sense? You have to, decide on what your goal is. You have to fully commit to it, shut the doors behind you, and make the whole world, announce to the whole world and make a public declaration so that you have to hold yourself accountable. And then you do whatever it takes to make sure you hit that goal. So, that's a great advice that I would give for perfectionists out there. And the second thing I'd like to say about, creating rapid results and managing your time better is in terms of those people who are looking to go into business, or those of you who are business owners, and how you're actually working in your business. Because notice I said working in your business, because most business owners are working in their business day in, day out. Now, I'd like you to think about this a second, right? I ask thousands of people around the world and I get the same answers all the time. When you think about why do business owners or why do entrepreneurs go into entrepreneurship or start their own business in the first place? Money, financial freedom, retire early, more time with family, friends, flexible hours, can do what I want when I want, freedom, But guess what? The majority of people in business, they don't have any of those. The majority of people in business, they are working in their business every single day. And the reason for this is because when you start a business, it's very easy to get really passionate about it, and then you dive into the deep end, get into the nitty gritty, which you have to do, that's fine. But then they never pull themselves out. And I'd like you to imagine this a second. Okay, imagine a machine, right? In this machine, you have loads of cogs. What a lot of business owners do is they apply themselves from the beginning as a cog, okay, to make all the other cogs move, right? So they're moving while everything else is moving. And the moment they disappear, guess what? They move themselves or remove themselves from the machine. Guess what happens? The whole thing stops, right? Then they think, oh, problem, I need to be back there again. So they're back in there. Now, the thing you have to do in business is start removing yourself from the machine. Then you replace yourself with another cog, somebody else, employ somebody else, a team, a group, and get them to do the job. And guess what? It's not going to run as smooth as you when you're in that machine. Okay, that's fine. You have to learn to accept that first. And then it's going to be moving, and it's not going to be moving that well. It's not going to be that smooth. And guess what? You're looking now at the bigger picture. You're looking at all the cogs together. And that's when you start working on the systems. And that's why, I'm a systems guy. That's why, I hold the 3-day seminar called Business Systems Mastery, and I teach people how to systemize their businesses. Because most people go into business, pour their life savings into it, and then they're stuck in there and they don't know what to do because it's their first business, or, and they don't know how to, they've never been taught these things, right? But then we really need to look from the outset to be able to systemize all these processes and to be able to look at the bigger picture. And once we can put the right systems in place, all of these cogs will be running smoothly. And not only that, where does it leave you? It leaves you looking at just the machine. And when we're looking at a machine, then we can build the second machine, we can build the third machine, we can build the fourth machine using the same systems. And that's why it's so important to have the right systems in place. Because when you do, you'll find that you have a lot more time to actually enjoy life, right? Which is very important. And a final thing that I'd like to, talk about on this video is about how you value your time. I'd like you to really think about how you value your time, because most people spend a lot of their time, they waste it away doing things that they don't need to be doing. And one thing happened the other day where I had a friend, old school friend, and I called him up to, just check on him, see how he's doing. And I said, how are you doing? And then he said, hey, Eric, I'm really frustrated. I said, why are you frustrated? He says, I'm trying to record a video, but I need to export the video onto my computer, but I can't find the cable for the camera, and it's really, really annoying me. And I said, okay. And then he said, I've been looking about 3-4 hours already, and I just can't find it. I said, interesting. I said, like, can I just ask you a question? And then he said, yeah. And I said, like, how much, how do you value your time? And then he said, what do you mean? I said, how much do you think you're worth per hour? And then he said, I don't know, 20 to 50 pounds per hour. And I said, okay, interesting. So you spent 3 hours already? He said, yeah. So that's about 100 and something pounds, right? And he said, yeah, that's something like that. And I said, so, by the way, how much is the cable? And he said, well, I checked, you can pick one up for like £3.50, but I've got one though, I don't need to buy it, you know, I'll find it. I said, interesting. So, you know, you're 3 hours worth 100 and something pounds, and you rather spend that time looking for this cable which is worth £3.50, which is really bizarre if you really think about it, right? Because if we use that time to work on what we normally work on, to add the value that we normally add, then we would be able to buy thousands of these cables, right? So it doesn't make any sense at all. But then a lot of the time we get caught up with life and we're just in this, you know, doing these things. And, you know, I know I have a lot of friends who wash their own cars. You know, that's fine if you love it, if you're passionate about it, that's great, yeah? But it's like, the reason a lot of people that I know wash their own cars is because they say that, you know, they save £5 on washing the car. But then how long does it take you to wash a car? Maybe over an hour? And how much is your time worth? Under £5? So, you know, I'd like you to really look at valuing your time every time you're doing something and using your time more effectively. You know, first of all, we need to increase our value, you know, per hour, so that we're very, very valuable. Once we're that valuable, we need to start knowing how to delegate. Right, okay, interesting. What just happened there was my camera just decided to stop in the video, in the middle of the video, and mess up my pattern and mess up everything, which is very bizarre because this video is all about, you know, the whole perfectionist thing. Don't worry about it. So guess what? We're gonna carry on, okay? From here, I'm not gonna start again because we're gonna get this video out there and I'm gonna add as much value to, you know, as many people as possible. Now, yeah, what I was talking about was, you know, washing cars, right? And, you know, what I'd really like you to think about really is, you know, once we've increased that value and you've got that and you're very valuable, then we need to start learning how to delegate our time more effectively and getting other people to do the job. And because our time is valuable, we make a lot more of that money, then we can outsource other people to do the jobs that we don't need to spend our time doing. This is a thing that I learned early on in my career because I used to be, you know, one of those people who, if I didn't have a website, I would find out how to make my own website. Why would I pay somebody else £2,000 to make a website when I could find out from Google, right? So I used to, you know, try and make my own website, and it would take me months. It would take me 5-6 months, you know, to put it together finally, because I would need to learn all the HTML, all the coding and all the rest of the stuff, when somebody else, when the professional could have done it in 1 month, let's say. And if you think about time and money, then it doesn't make any sense whatsoever why I would try to save that £2,000 into spending 5 months to do it, because in them 5 months I could have been earning much more than that. And, you know, I hope all this has been useful to you. We're going to be covering a lot of things like this, plus a whole load more in Superpower Live. So I know many of you have registered for the live event in London. It's going to be in March. There's going to be a few hundred people. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to share a lot of the strategies that I've used, you know, throughout my journey, and so you can implement it, you know, within your success as well. So anyway, those of you who have registered, then I look forward to seeing you all there. Those of you who have not registered yet, I'm going to put a link underneath this video, so all you need to do is click on that link and then you can get your tickets there. Anyway, look forward to seeing you all in March. Bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do check out my other videos. We have What Makes a Great Leader to your left and The Power of Giving to the right. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button below to receive all the latest updates. Dream with passion, live to inspire.